My name is Anne Kerr and I am President of the Scottish Women's Institutes. The Queen was a very special lady. She quietly led the way for women, showing that we had an important part to play in our communities throughout the country and could be strong but compassionate and understanding leaders, as she was. She had a gentle influence on many politicians throughout the world who admired her and respected her wise advice. The Scottish Women's Institute connections with Her Majesty over the years have been greatly treasured by members, whether it was at Institute meetings, national events, or by personal invitation from Her Majesty. Members were always delighted and honoured to meet the Queen. She showed a keen interest in handcrafts at the Royal Highland Show and also at local events in the Balmoral area, where she bought craft items at church sales. She gave 70 years of selfless service to Scotland, the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth, and beyond. Thank you, Your Majesty. We cannot fully express our thanks for your contribution to the modern world. Our sincere condolences to His Majesty the King and all the royal family. God save the King.
Helen Braid, Dumfriesshire Federation. It was a shock to hear the sad news that our Queen, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of Scots, had passed away at Balmoral. We knew it would happen one day, but it was still a shock when the news came. On behalf of the ladies of the Dumfriesshire Federation, I would like to extend our deepest sympathy to Charles, our new King, his sister Anne, brothers Andrew and Edward, and all members of the royal family. We all feel their pain and grief that they share. Queen Elizabeth, their mother, our Queen, was a star that shone brightly. Her commitment and loyalty to her peoples over her long reign is an example to us all. She is now a star in heaven, and may she rest in peace. We mourn her deeply and remember her with love.
My name is Anne Linklater, President of the Orkney Federation. I would like to pass on from our office bearers and members condolences to King Charles III and the royal family at this sad time. I am sure we all have precious memories of the late Her Majesty the Queen.
Christine Kyle, President of Renfrewshire Federation. On behalf of all Institute members of Renfrewshire, we send our sincere condolences to Charles III, King of United Kingdom, and all the royal family on the death of Queen Elizabeth. Sadly, I had never had the occasion to meet or see the Queen close up, but I have had the privilege of accepting the invitation to the Palace of Holyrood to take part in the Royal Garden Party with Lucille Wiley, who's sadly no longer with us, and Margaret Dundas of Brookfield Institute, whereupon we all had a glimpse of Prince Charles and Camilla. Such good memories.
We are deeply saddened at the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. She visited Shetland on several occasions, the most memorable being to open the Sullomvo oil terminal in 1981, when a bomb threat and a small explosion during her speech left her unfazed. Her Majesty has been a constant presence in all our lives over the last 70 years. She will be remembered for her sense of duty, integrity, dedication, kindness, and sense of humour. She will be sadly missed. Shetland Federation offers sincere condolences to His Majesty the King and all the royal family.
My name is Lorna Bay, President of Kincardineshire Federation. On behalf of all my members here in Kincardineshire, we send our sincere condolences to His Royal Highness King Charles and all his close family on the death of our lovely Queen and dear beloved mother. My father-in-law was blacksmith to the Queen at Balmoral, and he had a photograph of her in their lounge and told everybody that visited that picture was his boss. He was very proud of the fact. Her last journey from Balmoral to Edinburgh yesterday was seen by hundreds of people lined on the northeast roads. That was a test of how much she was loved by all here in the northeast. Rest in peace, Your Majesty. God bless you all.
I'm Anne Perry, President of Banffshire Federation. On behalf of my fellow members in Banffshire, I would like to extend our condolences to King Charles III and members of his wider family on the passing of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. She was a wonderful example of a life well lived, selfless, unstinting in her sense of duty, both to the British people and also the wider Commonwealth. A wonderful lady with a beautiful smile. One of our members recalls being at Balmoral, and in the true rural fashion, she was dressed for the occasion, no stilettos, she wore wedge heels so that she wouldn't fall in the grass. Unfortunately, she didn't notice a rabbit hole and fell flat on her face. Her pride was the only thing that was hurt, thankfully. We wish King Charles III a long and happy reign. God save the King.
It is an honour to be able to send our heartfelt condolences to the royal family on the passing of Her Majesty the Queen, and to remember all the love and support they have given to us here on Arran. Over the years, both the Queen and Princess Anne have attended various events on the island, which gave us special pleasure. Personally, I was brought up for 10 years of my life at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, and had the good fortune to see the Queen on many occasions. One of which was a passing out parade where the Queen sat side saddle on her horse to oversee the whole event. Unfortunately, Duster, the white horse on show, decided he was not going to walk up the steps correctly, thereby significantly elongating the whole event for all concerned. The Queen sat erect, elegantly and apparently unperturbed. I remember I thought how patient she was throughout. The Arran Federation joins the SWI and the whole of the nation in sharing this time of sorrow and reflection with the royal family.
I'm Margaret McGhee, President of Midlothian Federation. It was with deep sadness that I and our members heard of the death of our loyal and faithful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. She has been a constant in our lives as our Queen for over 70 years, and prior to that as Princess Elizabeth, and will be sadly missed. I'm old enough to remember her coronation when, as a child in Hong Kong, being taken to the local cinema with school chums to watch the coronation in colour 2 days after the coronation. On behalf of the members of Midlothian Federation, I extend sincere condolences to His Royal Highness King Charles III, the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, Prince Edward and their families at this sad time. May Queen Elizabeth rest in peace with her dear late husband, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. God save the King.
Janice Dagg, on behalf of the ladies of the 6 institutes within East Lothian Federation of the SWI, we extend our heartfelt condolences to all members of the royal family on the sad passing of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II. She was a great inspiration to everyone and a very respected supporter of the WI. God bless King Charles III.
My name's Marjorie Tennant from Selkirkshire Federation in the Scottish Borders. It's very difficult to know what to say at a time like this when we've just lost our Queen. That's not already been said. We had much love, respect and she had so much dignity, her humour, her leadership, her sense of duty and selflessness to get up every day, get the hair done and the makeup done and go to some other function, which maybe someday she didn't feel like doing. Many of us would not have done what she has done for us. I remember 20 years ago, she came down to Melrose to celebrate the Golden Jubilee. My children were involved at an event there and she drove past, and my thoughts about her then were that she was very pretty, very petite and always smiling. She has never failed this country and has put herself second behind the rest of us. Our best wishes and sincere condolences go to King Charles and all the royal family.
I'm Brenda MacLeod, President of Argyll Federation, and it is my great privilege to pass on the condolences from all of our members in Argyll to the royal family at this sad time on the passing of our Queen. Argyll is an area that the Queen knew well from her trips up and down the west coast on Britannia and visits to many of our towns. My personal memory of the Queen was something like 37 years ago, running up and down the avenues at the Highland Show, pushing my son in his overloaded pushchair and trying to keep up with his 7 or 8-year-old sister who wanted to see the Queen as much as possible and kept running ahead for another look. She did see her that day, and she also managed to go and pay her respects to the Queen on Sunday on her last journey to Edinburgh. Our condolences from Argyll to all the royal family.
Good evening. I'm Anne McGhee, President of Ross-shire and Sutherland Federation. May I, on behalf of all our members in the Federation, pass our sincere condolences to King Charles and the royal family. On Monday, my husband had the great honour of attending the Thanksgiving service for the life of Her Majesty the Queen. My memory of our late Majesty is meeting her at the garden party at Holyrood Palace a few years ago. I remember her beautiful smile and lovely blue eyes. Rest in peace, ma'am.
So my name is Susie Finlayson. I'm Federation President for Roxburghshire, and on behalf of all of our members throughout Roxburghshire, we wanted to send our condolences to the royal family on the recent passing of Her Majesty the Queen. And we wish all the royal family the very best at this time.
I'm Sybil Stewart, President of Murray and Nairn Federation, and on their behalf I extend our condolences to the family of the late Elizabeth R, Queen of our time. Her Majesty was a true and loyal servant to her people both at home and worldwide. Her promise at her accession to the throne has been carried out to the end. Ma'am, your duty is now over and you can rest in peace, knowing that the duty, loyalty and humility lived by yourself will continue during the reign of King Charles III. God save the King.
I'm Mary Carrier. I'm President of Peebleshire SWI Federation. And on behalf of our members, I would like to convey our deepest sympathy to the royal family on the passing of Queen Elizabeth. She was our rock and our strength, a constant reassuring presence in these ever-changing and often turbulent times. We are comforted that Her Majesty had a long connection with the Scottish Women's Institute. Sincerest condolences are extended from all our members. Long live the King.
I'm Allison Stewart from Angus Federation SWI, where I'm President. We're lucky in Angus. The Queen spent her early years at Glamis Castle, which is just 8-10 miles along the road from us. So my father used to tell the story that because he is exactly the same age as the Queen, and because he lived on the Glamis estate, they used to play with her. Now, I don't know whether or not it was true, but perhaps it was, perhaps it wasn't. My own experience with the Queen didn't actually happen, but the anticipation that it would, it was quite amusing. At the time, it was the Queen's Jubilee when she was doing her tour of Scotland and the rest of the UK, and she came to Dundee. Now, at that time, I worked at DC Thompson, and I also enjoyed belly dancing a lot. And we danced at the Space in the college in Dundee, and our belly dance group were to perform in front of Her Majesty. So I got time off my work, and we were up to high dough and dressed in all my gear and my jingle jangle bits and all the rest of it. So we were performing our dance to the best of our ability, but she didn't have time to see us. She went to see the contemporary dance students. So we were a wee bit miffed, but the atmosphere was electric and we thoroughly enjoyed the day. So that was my recollection of the Queen and my dad's. We were privileged to have you as our monarch. May you rest in peace.
Margaret Whiteford, President of Fife Federation SWI. Our members were deeply saddened by the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. She was an inspirational woman who dedicated her entire life to leading our country with devotion, strength, and dignity. I'm sure you all know she was a member of Crathie's SWI. Our thoughts are with her family as they mourn, yet must face the tasks which lie ahead. At our rural last night, our oldest member, Maria Cameron, aged 99, recalls her mother telling her the news, and she was just a child of 4, that Princess Elizabeth had been born, and that was 1926. Long live King Charles III.
Good evening. I am Lysette Butler, the President of Caithness Federation. We would all like to send our condolences for the whole royal family for their sad loss. It's very sad to see, after all these many wonderful years that the Queen has served us, that she's now left us. But I do hope that she will meet her prince again. I once met her on her silver anniversary outside St Paul's, and my biggest memory of her was that she was so small, but there was a lot in a very small package. Rest in peace, Your Majesty.
I'm Jean MacDonald. I'm Federation President for Lanarkshire. I have one or two. I was born in 1948, so I'm actually 3 months older than our new King Charles. My earliest memories are watching the coronation on a very small black and white television screen, and having followed the Queen on various things on television over the years. It's so sad that we're here today. My sister-in-law in New Zealand has emailed that my father-in-law, who was a Royal Marine Reservist when King George VI passed away, had to go to London to be part of the honour guard for the late King. So in our house, Wednesday night is wine night. So can I say cheers and thank you, Your Majesty, for your 70 years of hard work and dedication. God bless you, and 3 cheers for King Charles III. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Ray MacLeod, President for Stirling, Clackmannan and West Perth Federation. Thank you to a remarkable Queen who reigned for 70 years. She dedicated herself in this role and served with integrity. She was a great ambassador for our country. Her beautiful smile, I will always remember it, would brighten up a dark day. I admired her love of animals, all her corgi dogs and her beautiful horses. Condolences to her family at this very sad time. God bless our new King and his Queen Consort. Rest in peace, our gracious Queen.
Helen Scobie, President of Perth and Ross Federation. On behalf of our members, I would like to add our condolences to King Charles and the rest of the royal family. She has been a constant all through my life, and I do remember watching the coronation in 1953. Perth and Kinross has quite a good connection with Her Majesty. She did visit Perth on several occasions during her reign, and I believe Perth and Kinross Federation presented her with a pair of kid gloves made by one of the members in 1951 when she was still Princess Elizabeth. So that is a lovely memory for our federation. So I'd just like to say rest in peace, Your Majesty.
Elizabeth Wallace, Whiteford Federation President. On behalf of the members of Whiteford Federation, I would like to express our sadness at the death of Queen Elizabeth and pass on our condolences to the royal family. I was very proud to gain the Queen's Guide Awards in the Girl Guides, and I attended the garden party on 2 occasions at which the Queen was present. Long live King Charles III.
Helen Smiley, President of Aberdeenshire Federation. I'm sure we have all shed a few tears in the passing of Queen Elizabeth. a truly remarkable lady who devoted her whole life in service to our country and the Commonwealth. It was wonderful that the Queen spent her last few weeks in Aberdeenshire at her beloved Balmoral, a place she held dear and she loved. Queen Elizabeth, a life well lived. Thank you, ma'am. Condolences to all the royal family from us all in Aberdeenshire Federation.
I am Kay Young, President of the Ayrshire SWI Federation. On behalf of all the members of Ayrshire Scottish Women's Institute, we were saddened to learn of the passing of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, and pass on our deepest condolences to all her family. She was an inspiration and a role model to us all and did so much for the United Kingdom and especially Scotland. She was an enduring and stable influence to many and was a great supporter of the SWI and will be greatly missed. May you rest in peace and long live King Charles III.
My name is Helen McConaughey. I'm President of the Stewart Federation. I remember the time I last saw the Queen. In fact, it was the first time I had ever seen her. I was 10 years old and I had a school trip to the Dar Reservoir when the Queen opened it in 1956. I have seen her several times since passing by, but that was the very first. Our thoughts from the Stewartry are with the Queen and with all the royal family, especially with King Charles III.
Anne Knox, the President of Berwickshire Federation. On behalf of the Berwickshire Federation SWI, I would like to say how deeply saddened we are at the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. I also want to pass on our heartfelt condolences to her devoted and loyal family. Rest in peace, Your Majesty, and thank you. You were and always will be a true inspiration.
My name is Ruth Mackenzie and I have this year become President of West Lothian Federation. I would on behalf of this federation like to offer my sincerest of condolences to our King, King Charles III, and to members of the royal family on the death of Queen Elizabeth II. She will be sorely and sadly missed by us all. And one memory I have is of my grandmother who was going to Marie Curie. She was being admitted to Marie Curie and they said she could come on the Tuesday or she could come on the Thursday. And my gran said, why can't I come on Wednesday? And they said, because the Queen is coming. And my gran went to Marie Curie on Tuesday and she was introduced to the Queen as their newest patient.
Yeah.
And that would have been such a wonderful end to my grandmother's life.
Margaret Broad from Mull and Tyree Federation. For 4 decades, Our late Majesty would enjoy her summer cruises up the west coast of Scotland through the Sound of Mull on her way to Balmoral. Locals would select a suitable vantage point to see the Britannia as she sailed past, waving in the off chance that the Queen would see them. Everyone knew the Queen adored these cruises where she could relax and go ashore on a whim without fuss or ceremony and not be disturbed by anyone. We respected her privacy. Grateful thanks for your life, Your Majesty.
4 organisations have played a major part in my life, and all have had the Queen as patron or leader. One of these is Girl Guiding Scotland. When you're enrolled, you promise to do your best to do your duty to God and the Queen. I received the Queen's Guide badge in 1961, the highest award within the movement, and although it's now old and battered, I still treasure it. I also belong to the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society and was honoured to be chosen to attend the 75th anniversary of the Society in the City Chambers in Edinburgh in 1998, when I met the Queen face to face. This is a video of the occasion. Her love of dancing is well known, and I'm sure she would have enjoyed being on the floor rather than sitting on the dais watching and tapping her feet. My condolences go to His Majesty the King and his extended family, and may the late Queen rest in peace.